Hello, ladies. For those of you who came to practice tonight, you spent a lot of time working on this offense called BC that we'll be able to use when we see a zone. It has some very simple rules, but depending on the zone we see, exploits the weaknesses of all of them. And so those of you who are there tonight know that we ran this against a 2-3 to sort of see where the openings were against that zone. We looked at it against like a 1-2-2 or a 3-2, and we also looked at it against a 1-3-1. Those of you who are not there, we'll try to rep this on Thursday with you so you get a look at it against those different defenses. That's going to be important for you if we see any zone defense this coming weekend. So really simple rules with this offense. If you are a guard, one of these blue players, your rules are this. If you pass the ball to the corner, you're going to go through and settle to create an overload. And I'll show you what that means in a minute. And then you're going to replace. And so those are really the only rules, is that if the ball goes to the corner, whether you throw it there or someone else does on a skip pass, you go through and you replace to fill that space around the perimeter. The rules for the bottom players are simple. If the ball goes to your side, you pop out to the corner. If the ball does not go to your side, you flash to the high post, not necessarily the elbow, but somewhere in the high post. So those are the rules. Again, they're simple because what we want you to do is have something to get some movement that in some way for you to know what to expect from your teammates, but also allow you to be able to play basketball. So obviously, all the good things we do against a zone, ball fakes, no wasted dribbles, driving a seam and relocating, all of those kinds of things are effective. The one last thing I'll say before I show you this is anytime we can move the ball inside out, or from the high post to the low post, or the low post to the high post, that is when this offense is most effective. So we'll follow a pass. So what's going to happen is on the pass, two things are going to happen. So while that ball's in the air, this player is moving to the corner and this player is moving somewhere into the high post. And again, it has to be on the pass. So it's really important that the 4 and the 5 are moving on the pass. Now, 3, you have a lot of options. You can pass the ball into the high post. If you do, you want to make sure you relocate. You might drive this seam if you see something and you can kick the ball to the player here. Or, and you can always ball fake and go back. That's possible. But if you pass the ball to the corner, I want to show you this, you're going to go through. And what that means is you're going to make a hard cut here, and I would like you to settle on the block for a few seconds. The 1 is going to replace you. And the 2, you're kind of hanging around here. You eventually need to replace here, but you don't have to be in a big hurry yet, because what we've created here on this side is an overload. And an overload is really hard for a defense to play, especially if they're in something like a 2-3 or even a 1-2-2. They're having to bring some people in play positions that they don't want to play in, and do things that they're not comfortable doing. So we've created this nice opportunity where, the ball could come here and could be dumped into the low post. The ball could be just entered on this low post and we could have some relocation. It could get kicked back out. There are a lot of things we can do just with this little triangle we've created, or even this little rectangle that we've created, okay? So the 3 needs to hang around for a second to see if any of this materializes. Sometimes you leave too soon, and that's just when you were going to be open, especially if the 1 makes a ball fake here. A lot of times the defense shifts and you can enter the ball right here. So the ball went to the corner, 3 settled. Eventually, 3 is going to head out of here if nothing's happening. 2 is going to replace, and here we are. Now, the ball could go to the corner again. If it does, same thing happens. 1 is the cutter. She settles. 2 replaces. 3 can kind of hang out. Listen, it's nice to hang out here just in case the ball gets entered. The defense comes to play that. We might have a back door, so 3 doesn't need to be in a giant hurry. But once the ball's on its way back to 2, then the 3 needs to kind of show up here. But when the ball's in the corner, feel free to stick around on the backside. Okay. Now we could keep doing this, but we're probably not going to. So 1 didn't get the ball. She replaced. So now let's swing the ball so we can look at these bottom guys. So as the ball swings, this person who is in the high post, if this 4, is going to follow the ball. Going to kind of follow the ball until this pass is made. Now, again, remember, this play works if we move on the pass. So while the ball's in the air, the 4 is diving down to the corner. and the 5 has already kind of worked her way in as the ball is rotating, is now flashing here. And this is important. I want to show this again because 5's already worked her way in. When the ball gets to the top of the key, she doesn't need to be in that corner anymore. And the 4 is here. So as the ball's in the air, as the 4 is vacating, she's going to drag the defender down with her. And there's already a defender out here. So as the 4 drags somebody down, if the 5 comes right off her hip, we're going to have a nice little open jump shot right in the key here. All right. So literally that's the 4 and 5 piece. Now listen, sometimes we might want to keep the ball out of the corner. Maybe a team is trapping the corner. And so we might, pass to the 5 and, it can go from the 5 here. It could be a skip pass. If we don't pass to the corner, we can fake here and we can swing the ball to the other side. Again, creating that same opportunity for this time, the 5 to drag their player down, and the 4 who's already snuck in here. The 4 that's already done the sneaking in when the ball gets to the top of the key. As soon as that 5 vacates, you're coming right off her hip. So they're very simple rules. Call it BC. It's, like I said, a good way for us to get some movement against a zone, get some intentional cutting against a zone, get some high and low post play. Works against all zones that I can think of. So it's unique in that way. And we get a lot of good looks off it. Those of you who played around with it tonight, we stuck with it for a good 25 minutes, half hour, started to really move the ball well and see the potential here. So we'll definitely have another chance to look at this Thursday night. If you weren't here, please pay attention. If you're a forward, think about that 4 and 5 spot. If you're a guard, think about the guard rules so that you're ready to go with BC when we see you next. Thanks, everyone.